The story of Enzo Ferrari's first 2+2 production four-seater car is one tumultuous affair going from denial of the prancing horse badge by car collectors to an epiphany moment of what an understated and classic grand tourer the 1960 Ferrari 250 GTE 2+2 really is. The longer wheelbase tubular ladder frame chassis of 2600mm or 102.4 inch was chosen to accommodate the rear seats, and the steel body with aluminum doors, hood and trunk lid was penned by Enzo's favorite designer, Pininfarina. The lines were very conservative for a Ferrari, but the GTE's intent was to travel comfortably at a great pace with 4 adults on board without waving flags all around you. The exposed upright round headlights were slightly set inside the fenders with a metal strip running along the middle of the hood. The egg crate grille had driving lights at each corner of it, and the side front fender's 12 louvers air vent helped to keep the engine bay cool. The fender lines run straight from front to rear with little thinned out rear fenders, and the tail lights were composed of 2 vertical round lights with reflective units on top. All these light components were set inside a cat pupil-like chrome casting. To allow for plenty of light and visibility, large 3/4 rear side windows could be opened to vent the cockpit. As usual, the quad tailpipes could be seen under a chrome bumper with overriders also found at the front. To complete our 250 GTE, a set of beautiful chromed Borani wire wheels set this diva apart from the ordinary two-door coupe. The interior was as usual fitted with Veglia dials, including 4 small gauges placed linearly on the right side of the leather-padded dashboard. Overseeing this array of dials was a wooden Nardi steering wheel, while the center console and transmission tunnel were also covered in leather. The 4-speed gearbox received a Laycock de Normanville electric overdrive as used in Jaguars to give the 250 GTE longer transcontinental legs. The GTE added genuine rear seats for 2 adults. These leather seats were slightly bucketed with an armrest in the middle, making long trips more pleasant, with a second ashtray for the rear occupants. To allow for more interior space, the 3-liter or 180 cubic inch V12 Colombo engine was moved 8 inches or 20 cm forward, giving the 250 GTE some understeering behavior if you pushed it a little too hard in the corners, but handling capability wasn't the GTE's card, Grand Touring was. In 1962, the 250 GTE Series 2 was introduced. Don't wait for a long list of updates on this second series because there just aren't any. The only update was done on the dashboard, now fitted with 5 small gauges above the center console, with 3 on top and 2 just underneath. The real changes will come a year later in 1963 with the 250 GTE Series 3. The Series 3 saw its front extra driving lamps going from the grille to below the headlights, offsetting the turning signals outward. The dashboard again received tiny changes, and the taillights became long vertical unit, making more sense visually. With this taillights update, you could now say that the 1962 Peugeot 404 Coupe, also designed by Pininfarina, was the 250 GTE's semi-twin brother. The front independent suspension stayed the same with double wishbones and coil springs, but the rear leaf springs on the rear axle were happily replaced by coil springs, making the rear more stable on poor road surfaces. With 240 horsepower at 7,000 RPM, the 0 to 62 miles per hour was accomplished in 7.5 seconds, with a 137 miles per hour or 220 km per hour top speed, not too bad for a 60s four-seater. After 955 Ferrari 250 GTEs were produced, a very small batch of 50 Ferrari 330 America 2+2s were assembled in 1963 alone. This evolution of the 250 GTE was essentially the same car, aside from the V12 now stretching to 4-liter or 242 cubic inch and developing 300 horsepower at a lower 6,600 RPM, giving the rare 330 America a new top speed of 146 miles per hour or 235 km per hour and a 0 to 62 miles per hour time of 6.5 seconds. Sadly, when prices of 2-seater Ferrari went stratospheric in the late 80s, early 90s, many 250 GTEs 2+2 were chopped to produce batches of GTO and short wheelbase recreations. These days, collectors have finally recognized the true value and historical importance of the first production Ferrari 4-seater, which also by its high sale volume of 1,005 cars might have saved Ferrari from bankruptcy in the early 60s. Today, nobody is denying its simple classic beauty, elegance, performance and practicality, and that takes a not-so-average Ferrari to accomplish this.